Hi, I'm Josh. I've been using Blender for a few months now, and I've decided, you know what, I'm going to make a tutorial. And if I'm smirking, it's because this is my 20th intro for this video, so I'm hoping this is the last one. But yeah, so this is my first tutorial I'm going to make, so it's going to be a little bit janky. If I'm slow in my words, it's because I mumble a lot, but I'm going to try and pronounce them really clearly. So today, basically, we're going to be making this here. What this is, basically my girlfriend, she has these two little marshmallow plushie things. They're called jelly cats, so we're going to make some jelly cats. Right, so as with any render, you want to start off in the viewport, in the 3D viewport, which is where we are now, but we don't need any of this stuff, so I'm just going to press A to select all. If you look in the bottom corner, you can see the buttons I'm pressing, but A to select all, X, delete. Easy, easy peasy. So for this shape, well, actually, you know what, we'll start off. If you go on to, let me get this up. So the thing that's really important with Blender is you need, or ideally you want to have references, because, you know, it's hard to get, especially if you're going for realism, it's hard to get realism if you don't have references to help you along the way. So because of that, these, luckily for us, just taken straight from, where's the other one? Taken straight from the Jellycat website. So if you look at these here, we got a few different ways, or a few different things we can look at. And actually, this is pretty perfect because you've got every single angle. So, you know, it helps out. So basically, yeah, whatever you're making, you want some references, and that's our references today. So they're pretty handy. So let's move that out of the way. Now to to import them onto your 3D viewport, if you come onto here, just select A. Actually, you know what? First, if you number pad 1, if you press number pad 1, Shift A, come down to Image, Reference. You can go on to, if you go onto your folders, should be here somewhere. So we got this one here as like a backdrop. So if we zoom in a little bit and bring them up, G, Z to bring it up, sort of sitting on the line, because that's where we're going to be making our model. Move it back a little bit to give us some room, so G and Y, move back. And then if we go into numpad 3 to get the side view, see, so that's where we're going to be looking, side view. Again, Shift A, Image, Reference, Side. Same thing again, GZ to bring it up and sort of sit him there. And then move him along the x-axis to there. So that's what we're going to be working with. Now to start, you sort of want to match up the closest shape to the object that you're making. So here is, you know, pretty cylindrical cylinder. We're going to add a cylinder. G, move them up, just like so. Maybe move this back image across the x-axis just to get there, and then to go into X-ray mode to sort of line it up a bit better, we go into Alt Z, and you see a bit through. So we can see the shape's not really right, so move this back a little bit further along. There we go. So we're going to shrink this down just about the same sort of width, and actually we're gonna S to scale and Z to bring it up. We're gonna not actually do it perfectly, because what we want to do is if you see there's curved, the edges are quite curved along here, so we're gonna want to bevel the faces along here. So if I come on, select this object, come out of X-ray mode, press Tab, and then 2 to edge select, because if there's 1 for vertices, 2 for edges, 3 for faces, but we want the edges. So if you then come and Alt click this, you'll get the full line, full circle, and then Shift Alt for the bottom. So there we go. We go to 1, maybe X-ray mode again, and then Control B to bevel. You're sort of seeing there, you get that shape. Now if you scroll up, you add loop cuts basically to get a smoother bevel. So now we want to go pretty smooth, and I think 3 will be enough for us for the moment. About there, I reckon. Now that's our basic shape. Get rid of that. Come out of X-ray mode, come out of edit mode, and we'll shave that smooth, and you get that sort of shape. So that's our base shape. A good start. Now we want to maybe add a subdivision, actually shortcut for subdivision. If you click on the object and just control and then whatever number you want. So I reckon for this we want maybe a 3. You see on the right here we got the 3 level. If I came onto this and did control 1, it would do 1, control 2, but we want a 3. So that is about right. Now, first issue, you can see a slight shading error here where it sort of crinkles a little bit. We don't want that because, you know, we don't want crinkles. So we're going to get rid of that by going to edit mode. And if you select this face, so press 3 for that face select. If you select these faces, maybe one at a time, and then press I to insert, you can sort of bring it in a little bit. And you come out of that, you can see that that shading issue is no longer there. Now I don't know if that's the correct professional way to do it, but it works, so we're going to do it. Insert, bam, you know, there we go. So we've got this nice smooth shape now. It doesn't know like any obvious shading issues. So that's our basic shape. So if we go into 1, X-ray mode, sort of see through. Now we do see that it is a little bit tall, so we're going to scale it in the Z-axis and bring it down slightly to about there. And I think that, out of X-ray mode, I think that is about right. So I've got notes, so I'm looking at my notes, very organised. So what we're going to do now is, you can see that if you want realism, you don't realism isn't perfect. So a good example of that is the Lego movie. When that came out, I remember everyone was talking about the imperfections, where you'd see like fingerprints or scratches or whatever on the object, and that's the key to realism, because nothing's perfect. You know, look around your room and everything you look at, nothing's truly perfect. There's always something wrong with it. Well, not wrong, but imperfections are everywhere. So that's what you want to add. You don't want to go crazy, you don't want to make it look dirty or broken or anything. Just add little things just to make it a bit more realistic. So for this, no plushie or teddy or anything is going to be the perfect shape. You know, you sort of just stuff it, and it's going to have slightly different deformations. I don't know if that's a word. It's slightly different. It's going to be slightly deformed. So to do that, there's a few different ways you can do that. The easiest way is sculpting. So we're going to sculpt. Now, I'm not an amazing sculptor. As I say, I've only been doing this for a few months, but it doesn't need to be amazing. This, you know, we're going to, as you can see, there's fur all over around the object. It's going to be pretty hidden. We just want to get that base shape that the fur is being added to. So it doesn't need to be insane. There's nothing crazy going on here. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to just shape what's going on here by using the grab tool. I didn't mention that. The grab tool just as in the name, just sort of grabs different parts and just allows you to move it around a little bit. And don't worry about it too much. Just giving it slightly different, just making it a bit, not, you know, getting rid of the perfection in it. Make it a little, you can see there, if you go into 7 to come up to the top here, just maybe stretch out a little bit of everywhere. And 7, and if you press, that's a good one. So 1 is front view, 3 is the side, and then if you press 9 on the number pad, it gives you the opposite side you're looking at. So 1, if you want to look at the back, obviously I've got the reference image in the way, and then 7 is looking at the top, and 9 will bring me to the bottom. So if I'm on the bottom now, just sort of give it a random shape again, and you see that maybe a little bit too much there, but you know what, I think that isn't too bad. Maybe bring it out, and maybe that's a little bit too much there. I think that's right. It's just, you know, just little subtle bits, just little subtleties to make it a bit more realistic. So we come out of here, we've got that. Sorry, looking at my. We got that basic shape now. So now, I'm going to add the fur last, just because, you know, I want to layer everything, and the fur takes up quite a lot of power for the computer. My PC isn't the best, so it's not awful, but it's not the best. So you know, I was doing it on my laptop the other day, just testing it, and it was not having it. So you know, for the sake of all the computers out there, I'm going to add the fur last because my computer certainly can't. It runs pretty slow. But so yeah, we'll do that last. What we're going to do now is the eyes and the smile. Pretty, you know, you can sort of guess that. So Shift A, and we're going to add a circle. Now, if we press R to rotate and then 90 in the X-axis, that will just rotate it in the X-axis up. Right now, if we go into 1, if we go into the front view by pressing 1 on the number pad, and then scale it down, maybe X-ray mode is better there, so Alt Z, and we sort of bring that up, and it's gone to the 3D cursor. Is that what it's called? This the origin point of the 3D viewpoint. So we want to bring it into view, G and Y, so moving it along the Y axis, and then 1. We're going to scale it to about that size, so maybe about there. Bring it up to that. That's the right size. We want that. Then we go into edit mode, A to select all, and then just press F to fill. Then we want to move it to around about where we want it to be. So basically, what we've done now is we've now made it. If we come out of edit mode, before it was just the outline. Now we have an actual solid object. So now come back into the front-facing view and Shift D to duplicate, and then press X. We'll just move it along the X-axis so it's in line and about there. That looks about right. So now we've got the 2 eyes. Works. That's fine. Now what we want to do is add this little smile here. So if we go into Shift A, curve, and then path, same sort of thing again. If we move it along the Y-axis, bring it forward a little bit, and then scale it down, maybe move it up a little bit in the Z-axis. About there, that works about right. Then if we go into edit mode, you can see we've got these different points to work with, and each point basically moves this line and adds a curve. So we want to take these ones in the corner on both sides, move them in the X-axis straight up, just like that, little smile up. Take this one, and then if you shift, you can shift and choose multiple points at once. So if you select this one and then shift select this one, and then if we scale in the X-axis, you can imagine that the 2 points are being expanded away from each other, or towards each other. It just saves us moving them both individually. So about there, that looks about right. So if we come out of that, about, I would say, maybe a little bit lower down on here, maybe move a bit further down in the, yeah, maybe move these in a little bit more by scaling in the X-axis, like so. And that looks alright, but there is an issue, because now, if I come out of that, that's way too thin, and that's not really helpful. So to fix that, we actually want to click on it and go up to Object and onto Convert Mesh. We want to convert it to a mesh. You know, these are meshes. We want to convert that into a mesh. So now we can add a modifier. Now we can add a modifier to it. So if we go into Add Modifier, Generate, and add a Skin modifier, you see it's giving it some width, but there is another issue now, because now it's also giving it some thickness, and we don't really want that. You'll see why in a minute. Maybe it doesn't matter. I should have probably tested that, but for this example, we don't need it to be that thickness. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to apply it. Just like so. But now if we go to the side view, if we now go into edit mode and press 1 for the vertices select, and then go into X-ray mode, we can select these back ones here, X, delete vertices, come out of edit mode, and we now have 3 flat planes, which is perfect. So maybe move them around. You see that smile might be a little bit smaller, a little bit lower down maybe, but that it's looking a bit like a Lego head, but you know, that maybe move them out a little bit. Not too bad, I don't think. I think that is okay. I think that's alright. So now we need to project them onto the face, because obviously from the front it's fine. If we come out at anywhere a little bit more, it looks awful. We don't want that. So what we want to do, looking back to my notes, because this is, for me, the hardest part for me to wrap my head around, but I think I've understood it now. We want to project them onto the object, so we want them to be flat against the object. So to do that, we want to actually quickly let's label our objects. Let's be organised. So cylinder will be we'll just call it pink, because we're doing the pink mellow, or just pink mellow. That's the right eye. Right eye. Let's do left eye, and then mouth. There we go. Alright, so let's project this onto the marshmallow. To do that, we're going to add another modifier. We're going to go to deform and then shrink wrap. You see, it hasn't done anything, but that's because we need to adjust it slightly. We want the target to be this marshmallow. But you see, when we do that, it's sort of, I think, how I understand it, it's you see it sort of fits onto where the edges are, and we don't want that because, you know, we don't have enough. But it's sort of getting cut off by the edges. So what we want to do is, we don't want that setting. Let me find this right eye. So what we want to do is, we don't want to do it to the nearest point. We want to do it. We want to project it like a projector. Put it on the object, and it won't be affected by the object's points or edges or anything like that. So now again, hasn't done anything. That's because it's projecting it. If we go into this view and we actually move this along the y-axis, you can see that it's projecting it on the inside. So it's projecting it. The axis has a positive and a negative. So positive's going one way, negative's going the other way. I'm not sure why that's the positive side. I don't know. Maybe one of you knows. But yeah, so that would be right if we were facing that way, but we're not. We're facing this way, so we're going to move it back along, bring it out here, and we're actually going to project it on the negative, and there we go. Problem solved, you would think. So if I now come out of there, where's the circle gone? You can't see it. So let's grab the right eye again. That is actually, I think it's like exactly where it is, where the object is, and we don't want that because that causes a lot of issues. So if we go here and just offset it very slightly, well, we'll offset it by 0.1. You can see here, now it's slightly off the object, but that's too much. I mean, you probably wouldn't notice that, but it is too much. We want to be as perfect as we can be while not being perfect. So we're just going to add a 0, and that. You see there. So it's sort of they're overlapping each other, and we don't want that. So I'm gonna up that by. There we go. That's fine. You can see very slightly here that it's not perfect, but you're not going to notice that. And if you're doing a more professional, model, then maybe learn from a professional. But from my level, this is okay. So we're just going to do the same here. We're going to deform, shrink wrap, try and remember all the settings, project on surface, that's right, negative, target, we want to select pink mellow, offset 0.03, I think that was it, there we go, and then one more time for this, for the smile, shrink wrap, pink mellow, offset 0.3, I didn't do that, project, and then in the negative. There we go, that's right. So now we got our object, that's the base object. What time are we on? Maybe I'll leave that there. Maybe I'll just leave today. No, I'll quickly add some texture so we feel like we've done something. Because at the moment, if we go into rendered view, we have nothing. What I like to do is I like to use cycles, make sure my GPU is selected. I like to use cycles because it looks nice. Some people use or prefer Eevee. Obviously I'm still new, so I don't fully know the differences, but for me that's fine. Cycles is fine. You see that this is what I was talking about. You get this light shadow, but if the lighting's okay, and also we're gonna make them black anyway, so you shouldn't see the shadows, and it's going to be covered by fur. But so for this example, it's fine. But Anyway, just for the sake of being quick as well, I'm going to add a sky texture. Maybe rotate so we're seeing the front. We'll go that side. There we go. So it's pretty bright, but you get the idea. That's, we've got our model, but we're going to add textures now to see it better. So, we'll add, if you go down to the material menu, select here, and I'm going to choose the pinky sort of colour that is there. That's pretty spot on. And then for this, I'm actually going to add a texture, but because this part is just like a background, you're not really going to see it. You might see parts of it behind the fur, but you're not going to notice it. The eyes, you are going to notice a little bit more. Now I'm sort of working around it because I think it is a pretty like solid black colour, but for the sake of adding more detail, I'm going to use these eyes, maybe I could do them a little bit more. And no, I'll leave it as it is. We'll come back to that if it needs to be. I'm going to use a procedural texture just for the sake of being quick, and I don't have a library of photo scanned textures. Ignore background noise. So you can do that for free. There's free websites. Let me look at my notes. Just off the top of my head, not off the top of my head on my notes, but on my notes off the top of my head. The big one is Polyhaven. That's just the one example that I have. There are loads more examples. For what I have, which I'm going to use today, is I paid for I paid for Ducky 3D's procedural texture packs, which basically comes with a load of these. I recommend it because it saves quite a lot of time and it's not too expensive. I think I paid, there's different pricings for it, but I think I'm in the UK, so I paid, I think £35-ish, I think, maybe £40, around that sort of ballpark. But yeah, it just saves a lot of time. There's Polygon, which is good, obviously. Blender Guru's company, they do really good photo scans, but I think they do some free photo scans which you can use maybe. But yeah, I'm going to use these procedural textures. Let's be honest, I'm not a texture person. I'm not very good at all the textures and making all textures, so I'm just going to use someone else's because they do it better than me. I think that's sort of the whole thing with 3D art. Just do what you're good at and let the other people do what they're good at and sort of merge it together. So let's move on from that. We're going to add this basic knit to this eye. Now you can see it's not done anything, it's made it darker, but that doesn't look like a knit. That's because if we go into UV editing, we need to unwrap it. So we currently have this eye select. Obviously it's a bit off because the object isn't actually on the face, it's here. It's just being projected. So if we press A to select all of these and then U, unwrap, we've now unwrapped it. And if we come back to here, we've got the texture. Perfect. Now let me change this slightly because I want it to be pretty dark. Let's make that black. There you go, so we got some variation there. Maybe make it a little bit bigger. Or which way am I going? Like that maybe. Get rid of some dirt. We don't want it too dirty. Maybe get it a little bit darker. Yeah, from a distance, I think that's all right. Now if we add that to, I mean change that now. Let's call that Christ, mouth and eyes. Just like so. Perfect. We'll add this one, mouth and eyes, but it's done the same thing again. That's because we need to A to select all, U, unwrap. Now we've UV unwrapped it. Basically what that does is, I don't know what it does, I'm not going to explain that. And then same thing again, mouth and eyes, UV unwrap, A, U, unwrap, come back onto here, and that looks good. See, this is I think this is because it's stretched, so it's sort of stretching it out. Now I don't like that, so I'm going to go on to here, new material, so it's basically duplicated it, and I can edit that individually and just match it up. You wouldn't even notice. But yeah, so that's the pink mellow, the basis. I was going to do it all in one video, but that seems like it's going to take a long time, so I don't know what I'll do the legs next. We're going to do the legs next, and then the fur, and then we're going to create the scene. We'll try and create, let me get it up, we'll try and create something like this, which is basically my girlfriend's bedside table. So we got this. You know, we'll make the mushroom, the candle. That's a polygon free model, so you can do that as well if you want. But yeah, we'll just do this. That's the end goal. Next part, we'll do the legs. We're going to do some sculpting and cloth simulations to get some creases and stuff that we don't, you could do in sculpting, but I'm not going to. I'm going to do a cloth simulation. But yeah. Oh, and some weight painting as well to get this sort of where there's missing hairs along the lines where they've sort of stuffed their hair in. We're going to do that too. But yeah, thank you for watching this tutorial so far, and I'll see you in the next part. If you liked the video, like it and subscribe for more tutorials maybe. I don't know, we'll see where it goes. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in, if you're watching all in one, like 10 seconds. So see you in a minute. See ya.